Hey there, guys. It's your friendly neighborhood chili man. Yeah, cringy, I know. So today I guess I'm trying a new format, and I don't know if it's gonna continue or not. It depends on the performance of this video, of course. But today's video is, gamers never cared about graphics, or we never cared about graphics, or it was never about graphics. Depending on my notes here, I wrote down like three titles. Anyway, let's get into it. Now, I'll put up all the talking points, or the bulletin points. So without further ado, let's get into it. It was never about graphics, it was about having fun. Now, for as long as I've been alive, there've always been fun things to do, playing outside, playing with your friends and whatnot. But the only thing that ever really stuck for me now, up until now as an adult, is gaming. This was the only thing I could ever do as a means to have fun. It was cheap at the time. It was, it kept me busy and kept me out of trouble. Now, gaming, of course, is at a state now where everything is overdone, and video games are becoming more and more expensive, and consoles and everything. But that's something I'll get into later in the video. But yes, the whole point of playing a video game is about having fun. You're supposed to enjoy the experience. You're supposed to be able to escape and forget about life for as long as it is you play. Because when I was young, the normal average playtime would be anywhere from about an hour to maybe about, let's just say, 3 hours. And usually it would be an hour if it was me waiting to go somewhere, maybe going to a friend's house or something like that. Like you would wait for your parents to get ready and dressed. You would be already dressed, and then you would be sitting downstairs, or they would be in their room getting dressed, and you'd be playing there. And then once they're done, they would come outside and say, hey, it's time to go, we need to go. And then you'd switch off your console and you pack it in your cupboard or wherever, and then you would head out the door. But yes, gaming is supposed to be about fun, and once you take out the fun element out of video games, it pretty much nullifies the point of playing it in general. And this is something that has been a common trend now, because people keep on thinking that graphics makes the game more fun, but it doesn't. And with that, it moves on to my next point. You don't need amazing graphics to have fun. It's like, if you think about board games, if you think about all the games that existed before, if there was even electricity, that have carried on to now, you would really see that, the fun aspect of playing a game is either winning or just the whole aspect of having fun. Having memories, like playing board games with family members, or playing board games with friends, or playing a game of soccer with your friends. The whole point was that you did a fun activity with the people you cared about. That's literally the key point of having any fun in general. It's either having a fun experience with people, or the people you care about. Next point is, all we have in video games is graphics now. And this is the thing. I feel like most of these days, games are more proud about their graphics than their actual gameplay. They care more about the trailers they make than the actual gameplay. When you make something, when you create something, all of the criticism that is on the thing you make is supposed to make the thing better. Constructive criticism is probably one of the best ways to be productive and to be better. And this is something that's been taken away, because the game devs don't take in any criticism, so they don't change. Because if the game is still, as I've said before, if the game is still making money, no matter how trash it is, they're not going to change it. Because if they're putting in less work and less time and getting more money, it's pretty much a no-brainer at this point. And there's going to be no effort, there's going to be no heart, there's going to be no passion, no soul put into any video games. And the graphics always speak the loudest, but the graphics just make a good trailer. Graphics just make maybe a good beta. They work hard on one part of the game, and then they make that the part of the game that they show. As I said before, a video game is not a movie. Literally, what a video game is pictures on a screen that you can manipulate with a series of commands from a control remote, or whatever it is that you would use to play said video game. But let me continue. The next point is, what have we sacrificed for the sake of good graphics? Now, if you ask me, I feel like we're at a point now of where we need so much powerful hardware just to operate a game that isn't even the minimum standard of good, or isn't even the bare minimum of good. Like, I spent an arm and a leg. I spent every penny I had on my setup. It gets the job done. Sometimes it even does better than that. It surprises me, and this is the thing I like about having good hardware. But good hardware needs to be appreciated by having good software, or in this case, having good video games that are the good quality that they need to be for your hardware. Because I feel like with the prices of gaming consoles, TVs, 8K TVs, 4K capability, 8K capability consoles right now, so you spend all of this money, and then games you buy, the games you pay full price for, are barely even playable, which isn't a good thing. And my next point is, what is all this leading to? What is it really leading to? I honestly don't know at this point. I don't know where we're going, because for me personally, I've been wanting to play video games less and less. I found myself wanting to do other things that are more rewarding, like maybe art and animation on my side, and maybe having more personal relationships with my friends, going out more, and literally going to enjoy life. Like, I would love to travel. I would love to do so many things with my life. And this is how I felt as a gamer recently. And I don't know, it seems like it's heading towards a brick wall, because we're just going to keep on spending more and more money and getting less return on investment. And the next point is, what do you remember about the last video game you played? The last video game I played in towards completion was Serious Sam 4. Serious Sam 4 is a really good game, but is very flawed. It lacks three-dimensionality, or it lacks three-dimension. It feels very hollow, very rushed, it doesn't feel complete. It feels like there's something more. When you play the game in your heart, you want something more from it. And that's just me personally. The last game I officially fully played was Serious Sam 4. Next point is, the price of video games and the price of video game consoles are getting out of hand. I spent a lot of money on my PC, and that was about, I think, 2019. And by today's standards, it can barely... It just gets the job done now. And I only bought this thing, like a few years ago. And if you look at the prices of modern consoles now, like the Switch, the PS5, and the Xbox Series X, these things cost an arm and a leg. And imagine, with these consoles, you need a really good TV to run them as well. You need at least a 4K or 8K TV. You can't run them on that old TV that you had in your room that your parents gave to you because they themselves bought a flat screen TV. But prices are getting out of hand, and we can't keep on spending more money and getting less return, as I said before. And we need to reach a point to where they stop making new video game consoles and actually start working on video games, spending more money and time on video game development. I feel like that's the best thing I can say about the prices of video games and video game consoles, because video games are selling at full price and giving beta level standard. I would expect this level of standard from an indie game, but even the indie game market is doing better than the AAA developer market right now. But anyway, let's get some other people's opinions, and I'll read these opinions for you. These are the opinions that I could find online, because I couldn't necessarily speak to random people on the street. But let me read them for you. So now I'm going to read the opinions of other people online that I could find from either Quora or Reddit. I'm not going to read the whole thing, so the part that I'm reading will be in a red rectangle or highlighted in red basically. So it reads as follows. When I think about all the memorable games I've played, the things that are common among them are great gameplay and story. Graphics only became the main selling point when the gameplay and story are bad. Second one. If you ask me, I'd play NFS Most Wanted over Most Wanted 2, even though the graphics in 2 are amazing and very realistic. There's no storyline and the gameplay sucks. Similarly, I'd take FIFA 13 over 15. 13 was a classic, 15 had better graphics, but it just felt different. Thankfully, 16 and 17 didn't feel different. When people say graphics doesn't matter, they typically mean the attempts at chasing photorealism, ray tracing, and ambient occlusion at 8K won't make a game better. They just won't. What are they saying are pretty flashy graphics or pointless without substance behind it? Good gameplay story will carry a bad looking game, but good graphics will not carry a bad game. The argument that graphics doesn't matter comes from the very real fact that no matter how great technology is at a time, a game's visuals are going to become dated sooner or later. Graphics matter in a way, but not to the extent you are insisting they should be. Graphics don't mean anything for a game, it's mostly about aesthetic to a game. If graphics mattered, Minecraft, Dwarf Fortress, Skyrim, Papers, Please, and thousands upon thousands of other games wouldn't be popular. Sure, graphics are nice, but they will never be the selling factor for a game, or else the Crysis games would have been the pinnacle of gaming. Graphics do matter, as do art style, but they are absolutely not an objective indicator of whether a game is worth more than another. Nothing is really even gameplay. It's entirely over you. Some people like games that look good and want to crank up the settings to ultra, while others want more FPS and would even play on low setting if they have to. And that's about it on the opinion. Sorry if I read it badly. I think there was a few spelling mistakes and I was reading like a computer. It was my mistakes. But yeah, that's pretty much the opinions of people. I have some more points and I'll be bringing them up now. Why are older games better than new games? The fact of the matter is that older games were just made better. They were made with more love, more time, more passion, more care. But as well, they were made at a time when technology was primitive or wasn't as advanced as it is now. Because if you look at gaming now, technology has advanced so much. But also the time period which games take to come out is much longer now. Games take anywhere from like 6 years to 10 years to release, and they still release broken. Like Cyberpunk, for example. Cyberpunk took a while to come out, and when it finally released, it was still broken. So the fact of the matter is that games just aren't being made well. And that leads me to my other point. I haven't played any modern game that has been better than old games. So never did I think that the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 of 2022 was better than the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 from the first one that was made, on PS3. I don't know the exact date. I'll put it up on screen. Never did I think that. The new one is not that good. It's horrible. It's a complete and utter disregard for what the original game stood for. It's a complete and utter disrespect to the hard work and love that went into those old games. The other point is, people only started caring about graphics since 8th gen. Now, if you look at the PS2 era of games, for example, or I think it is 6th gen. Okay, the thing is, 6th gen was more about quantity over quality. People just made games about whatever. It was only until with Xbox 360 and PS3 that things sort of started to pick up momentum. People were caring about all the fundamentals of a video game and working on it. They were working on Call of Duties, they were working on bettering Need for Speeds, they were working better on improving Forza games, they were working better on improving Gran Turismos. So that's pretty much the way it is. Technology was more primitive back then, but now technology is advanced. The other point is, the obsession with graphics is overrated. Look, people, graphics is good, but as we know, it doesn't make video games better. So it's pretty stupid to over-exaggerate or to focus only on graphics when the game you're playing is barely playable and you spent full price for it. And here's a big one. Gameplay is the last thing that AAA developers care about. Now look, whenever it comes to a video game, the first thing you should always handle is gameplay, and everything else backwards. It should be gameplay, storyline, and then graphics. But now they're doing it backwards. They're doing graphics, storyline, and then gameplay. So that after all the work they've put into creating new engines, the last 2 to 3 years of development are spent developing the gameplay. They spend all their time building new engines. And then the last 2 to 3 years, maybe a few months, they spend on the gameplay. This is probably why games are so rushed. Is because the last thing they worry about is gameplay. And my other point is, have modern consoles really made a difference? My answer is not really. They haven't really made a significant impact on gaming because the video games are not getting better. So how can you say that they have made a considerable contribution to the development of video games? Graphically, yes. Gameplay, no. Like, gaming is probably the most antisocial thing to do these days because most games aren't even two players. They want you to play online where there's a bunch of people that you don't know. Couch co-op has been thrown out the window. So really, it depends on who you speak to. But these new consoles like the PS5, the Switch, the Xbox Series X, these people or these developers and these console giants all want you to each individually own one console and play with each other online instead of all sitting on one couch in one room playing one console. So it begs a question. And my last point is, what is the solution? The solution is video games just need to become better. There needs to be a focus more on creativity and passion and hard work over graphics and financial incentive. I get that the financial incentive needs to be there, but it's not like these big game developers are broke. These people are making billions now. Gaming as a whole is making billions now. It's as profitable as it's ever been. People aren't making, pixelated games in their garages anymore. That time of gaming has gone, and it's time to transition now to a place of where good games start to come out that are complete. Maybe putting not so much of an emphasis on microtransactions and whatnot, but definitely gaming needs to get more attention. Passion, creativity, love, hard work needs to be put into more video games, especially the story and the gameplay. The story and the gameplay are the only reason why you're playing the game in the first place. So what does the graphics have to do with anything? But anyway, guys, I really hope people enjoyed this new format of me making a video. Please use the comment section. I would love to know how people feel. I would love to know if people like maybe a more gritty and raw version of my content, or if they like the more, clean, the more clean cut version of where I make shorter videos. But yes, so basically, this is the Chilly Man signing off. I thank everyone for watching. Please comment in the comment section. Thank you so much. It's the Chilly Man signing off. Peace out.